Leslie, you want
Banff,
first?
Glacier, and Yellowstone. Tuesday, Wednesday, and going about 3.5 weeks.
Can you hear now, Sue? Okay.
You ready to roll?
Calling the Shippensburg Area School District Committee of the Whole meeting to order.
Thank you, Ms. Eberly. I'd like to turn it over to Ms. DeLong to talk about federal programs, which are more exciting than they used to be for various reasons, but she'll update us all on that. Ms. DeLong, you want to take it over?
Good evening, everyone. So I'm happy to be here tonight to talk about our federal funding that we get for our title programming. And I think as you all have heard in the news, there's a lot of uncertainty about what kind of funding we're going to receive this year from the federal government. Even with the uncertainty, we still have to go through the processes and prepare ourselves if we do get the funding. So part of the requirements are to have a stakeholder meeting to discuss the purpose of the federal funds, the proposed usage of the funds, give anybody who's interested the opportunity to provide feedback on the usage of our federal funds, and also to seek feedback on how to better engage our stakeholders. So the following are the federal funds that Shippensburg qualifies for. So we qualify for Title I funding, and that is supplemental educational programming that provides financial assistance to districts to improve educational opportunities for educationally deprived students. It's designed to help children meet state content and performance standards in reading, language arts, and math. So far, from everything that I'm hearing, we are slated to still get the Title I funding, as long as the funding is released by the federal government. The Title II funding is used for supplemental education programs that provide financial assistance to improve skills of teachers and the quality of instruction in core academic subjects. So Title II is currently on hold. Title III is our supplemental education program that provides financial assistance to our English language learner population. That is also currently on hold. And then our Title IV funding is for supplemental education programs that provide funding for 3 areas: well-rounded education, safe and healthy schools, and the effective use of technology. So last year, here is what Shippensburg Area School District qualified for and then what we used. We had received $878,268 in Title I, and you can see that we used that for the salary of 7 teachers and also the benefits for 7 teachers. We also used, if you look at that right-hand column, $9,990 for family engagement. So the school district is required to set aside a certain percentage of the money that we get in federal funds for parent and family engagement. So if you receive over $500,000, 10% of it has to be set aside for parent and family engagement. And then we divide that out to the buildings, and that's the money that they use to do all of those Title I nights, the science nights, the reading under the stars, all of these different breakfast with a buddy, all of these events that we have. We use that for the parent and family engagement. We also have to set aside a certain percentage to support the students who live in Shippensburg Area School District but go to non-public schools. So we have almost $15,000 last year that we used of federal money for our students. And so we use the Lincoln Intermediate Unit and the Capital Area Intermediate Unit to provide reading support for our Shippensburg students who attend public schools. We set some money aside for our homeless students as well. That's all through Title I. Our Title II money last year, we had $123,000, and we used that money for a class size reduction teacher. So as you know, we have very large classes at the elementary levels. So we hired a teacher at James Byrd Elementary School in the 2nd grade last year and paid her salary and benefits with that Title II money. Title III money is our funding that we get for our English language learners. And so you see last year we had $34,000, and we were able to use that money to employ 2 classroom assistants to work with our English language learner teachers to give more support to our English language learner students. We also purchased some technology. We purchased some supplemental curriculum. So the great thing about Title III is that we're in a consortium with the Capital Area Intermediate Unit and a number of other schools. And if the other schools don't spend their money, we can spend it. It's like whoever gets to it first, kind of. So I would be happy to say that we spent all of our money and some of everybody else's too, because we were really, our English language learner population has really increased over the last several years. And we went from, I think we had 3 teachers when I first started here at Shippensburg, and now we have 5. Plus, we had 2 classroom assistants this past year also. So our population is well over 300 students, and they have a lot of needs. So we were really great in using that money. So I'm very sad that it's on hold right now. So you can see the grand total there was $1.1 million approximately that we had in federal funding last year. So here's a slide that compares what we were allocated last year as the first column, what we were allocated this year, and then what the difference is. And so it's interesting to see that this year we were slated to receive $33,000 less in Title I than the year before, even though our population is growing. We were slated to receive $5,000 less in Title II, $10,000 more in Title III, which I was very excited about, and then almost $5,000 less in Title IV. Oops. So what are we going to do with our money that we if we get it? So this slide talks about what our preliminary budget process is for this upcoming school year. So if the funds are released, we will receive $844,956 in Title I budgeting. Again, that's $33,303 less than we received last year. And so we are looking right now at using that money for, again, the salaries and benefits for our reading specialists and our math coach. Also, we use the money to pay for iReady reading and math, which are diagnostic programs that we use to track students' progress as the year progresses in reading and math. We have that family engagement money that I talked about before, the non-public set aside. I was working on the application today, and we are looking at supporting 18 students who live in the Shippensburg Area School District but attend non-public schools. Our homeless set aside, and so that brings us up, I cut it down to the smallest amount, which is $1, because we need all of the money for the salaries and benefits already. So that takes us up to our grand total there. So one of the questions that, so for anybody who's listening on here, I'd be interested to receive any feedback, but we are always looking for ways to engage more parents in the educational process here in Shippensburg Area School District. So currently, for family engagement activities, last year we had information sessions. We had a 3-part series that we ran with ESS last year about students' stress. We did one on internet safety, and we did one on that was called The Power of Play. And that was for our students K-5 and their families. We had collaborative meetings with families. We look for ways to have transparent communication about federal programs, and we also conduct surveys at the end of every year. I took advantage to give my presentation here tonight in front of a live audience because last year I had it online and only one person came. So I already quintupled my my attendance, so I'm very happy about that. And then so we also kind of consider, what are some barriers to family engagement? So what resources can we provide as a district to reduce the barriers to family engagement? So for example, we do breakfast with a buddy at the intermediate school in the morning so that parents can come before work. We have things in the evenings so that families can maybe come together as a group. So we're always just trying to find different times of the day, different days of the week, looking for ways that we can continue to get as many parents as we can involved in their students' learning. So then moving on to our Title II funds. So again, our preliminary allocation is $117,000, $5,000 less than last year. So we are planning to use the funds again to pay for a class size reduction teacher to handle the continuing growing enrollment at James Byrd and Nancy Grayson. So if we get that funding, that is what our plan is as of now, and that's just about enough money to pay the salary and benefits for a teacher. And then our Title IV money is $65,000, which is a little less than $5,000 less than last year. And we have tended to transfer that money into Title I just so that we have enough to pay for the iReady and the salaries and benefits that we already have in the budget. So if they release those funds, that's what we would plan to do. And so it's also just really important to know that you can't use federal funds to supplant anything that's already in your district budget. So you have to use the money either to start a new program or to continue a program that was already paid for using federal funds. So for example, you can't just say, oh, well, we got more money this year, so we're going to pay this teacher's salary with it. If that teacher was already paid using district funds, you can't move them to federal funds. So you can't supplant anything in your budget. And then finally, our Title III funding. So we were slated to get an almost a little over $10,000 more, and that's again the funding for our English language learners. So here are the things that we used it for this past year. Those paraprofessional salaries. We bought iPads and other translations devices, supplemental classroom supplies. Every year we have a really fantastic ELL family game night. We had it here in the middle school this past year, and so many families came and they played games together in both English and in their own language. One family was playing Guess Who in Spanish, and it was really, really great to see the families come here and be engaged in the schools and finding a space for them. And then I already talked about the benefits of being in the consortium. They provide professional development for our teachers. They provide backpacks for all newcomer students. So if you have a student who's brand new to the United States, we can get a backpack from them from the CAIU that has school supplies and calculators and all kinds of really great things for the kids. There's lots of resources that are available through the CAIU. They have a full-time social worker who works only with students who are in ELL families to help them, maybe get a job or if they have housing issues. So there's just a lot of really great services that the ELL social worker offers. And then finally, they offer a service that's called Cultural Navigators. So people who live here in the United States and are from other countries, they come and they work with the schools or with families to help them become acclimated to their new environment. So then my last thing, just if there's ever any ideas or concerns with how the federal funds are planning to be used or are being used, I'm the contact to reach out to. So anybody on the board or in the audience or listening out there, if you ever want to know more about federal funds, I'm your girl. So thank you so much for your time.
I did have a question
Yes.
or comment regarding the homeless set-aside of $10 and $1. How does that even, what, we know $1 doesn't buy anything, and 10 is pushing it.
Yes, so you have to set aside at least $1. And so, we use all of the money that we get mostly to pay for the programs that we're currently running. So if you set any of the money aside, it takes away from the other programming. And so we just find that we have a school-wide program, and so all of our students have access, all of the students at Jamesburg, Nancy Grayson, and the intermediate school, I should specify. We only have 3 schools who participate in Title. And so we just prefer to continue to pay for all of the things that we're currently doing, because it's very limited what you can actually spend the money on. So we just budget the minimum and then just keep everything in our programs as we currently do.
So it is a choice, the more we were to put in there, the less we would have for the
Other
other
things,
parts of the program. And the needs are so great, you would have to put a substantial piece of it into that pocket of money. And there are, through our social workers, other community resources that we use to help or are accessed, for homeless.
I mean, we could certainly consider budgeting more. I can also say that, at the last year just ended the ESSER funding, and we had I think like more than 68,000 that was for homeless, like part of the grant. So we were coming off of a lot of spending in that area, and so we hadn't really felt the need to put a lot of our title money into
It's
that
just
also.
an explanation, because when you look, it's like you can't go anywhere and buy anything.
No. So it's the minimum, like we're just budgeting the minimum amount.
This is a long one question, just for the board. We haven't received any monies, correct?
Oh. So
Because-
you have to fill out what's called the consolidated application to apply for the grant. The consolidated application is open, but you can't submit it. So, they're not even accepting any applications yet. So if they and when they choose to release the funds, then they'll open up the rest of the parts of the application.
So the board is clear that these monies, the day before they were supposed to release, were put on
Hold.
hold. So that we're waiting and hoping that these will be released. It is $1.1 million in our budget that we would.
That could change.
Yes, they can choose to release everything, or they could choose not to. It was already allocated to the states because it's actually from the previous budget, but it's stuck in the federal government right now with all of the changes.
It's not a guarantee. I mean, the state says we're not going to do it, then they're not going to do
It
it.
would be if the federal government says they're not going to do
It's
it.
at
Yeah.
the federal
Yeah.
level. These monies have been within school funding the most, I think, solidly counted upon monies that we get from the federal government. So it is highly irregular to not have the ability to apply at this point. But I just wanted the board to know that's where we are. These monies have not come through, and we are still waiting on all of them, including Title I, which is pretty significant for us.
Yeah.
Along with not having a state budget at this point is also a little concerning.
Yep, but I have the application all teed up, and as soon as they open the submit button, I'll be clicking it, but I just have to, we're just on hold right now.
What decisions need to be made if it doesn't come in before the school year?
The decisions are how we're going to fund those positions, Mr. Carey. And that's really how, I would say it was highly unexpected for it to be paused the day before. After this year, it was certainly with all the changes that have happened at the federal level, moving forward beyond this budget year, I think there were maybe some questions and strategies we could take. To have it paused the day before it was to come out, was a little shocking.
Yeah, and even when I went to the federal programs coordinator in May, there were people there from the federal government who said that the money would be still coming this year, but for the future, they weren't sure. And then literally we got an email on June 30th that said, "Ooh, no, we're on hold right now."
So on hold is better than canceled.
Right.
But this being in limbo is, along with the state budget, is certainly a rising concern as the days tick away. So, other questions for Mrs. Dolan? Thank you so much. Next up, we'd like to talk about community outreach committee. I think Mrs. Sue Fink is available. If you open up that attachment, there's an index review done by Market Street, an organization that does evaluations of school districts to maximize the sponsorships available. They walked our facilities and put a lot of effort in kind of determining what the yearly ranges and what potential sponsorships the district could offer. And this is the list that they did come up with. So this is kind of like everything, and the total at the bottom is what, if we were to do every single piece of this, the range of yearly income we might be able to have. So as we finish our projects and begin to kind of focus on moving to the next phase of outreaches and sponsorships, we have a roadmap of what our market and our school our size can be targeting. Sue, did you want to add anything to that?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't have anything to add unless somebody has questions.
Do you know, how do they, I mean, they look at everything, but like, how do you know, or how do we know, like, how does our potential sponsorships compare to, like, is there anything we can compare it to other districts or anything like that?
Hi, Levi. So what Market Street has done is they have active engagements with 16 regional school districts currently on their corporate partnerships list, not including Chambersburg, by the way, who, while Market Street also offers their services for a 30% cut of profit, Chambersburg uses them the way we're working with them, and that is that they're helping us build out the inventory index, and then work with us alongside to help us continue to move some processes forward. And I've been in constant contact with them over the past couple of weeks. So what they do, to answer your question, is from their decades of experience at this point, they have gone in, they've walked the facilities with myself. Leslie was there that day. Sarah was on hand. We went into the high school. We looked around. We also have the documentation as to what some of the other scoreboards had been sold for in the past for their marketing benefit. One of the things that they've taken into consideration is, while Chambersburg pulls in about, I want to say 150 a year at this point. When they first started 7 years ago, that very first year, they brought in a little over 200. So they're doing a very reasonable comparison with all of the South Central PA districts that they work with, from Hempfield, Conestoga Valley, Lancaster to Chambersburg, Pottstown, Pottsgrove. And they have a very good feel and understanding. This is their bread and butter. So they have a very good feel and understanding about what the market can bear given our demographic and where we currently live, and what we're starting to pursue that we've really never done in this robust of a manner.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Thanks for
it's
asking.
a more intentional, a more professional approach to looking to maximize, our available sponsorships throughout the district. I think is the best, one way to summarize that. So, moving forward, there'll be, efforts, to begin to fill in these spots with sponsors, with Sue helping to lead the way on that with help from, some committees we'll need to put together.
These numbers per year?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Jim. Yeah. The average is that they're looking, if we do this well and properly, that we could probably on average pull in about 150 a year. And that, as I've worked with them and listened to them and looked at all of our past materials, I've been very transparent with them. They're very transparent and honest with me. And I really feel that what they've pulled together really makes a whole lot of sense. And we have to understand that the fair market value for naming rights and sponsorship in Shippensburg can look a little different than it might in even Lancaster, for that matter, right? They're very good at creating that kind of difference and telling you why. One of the things that they realize, and they write it into their materials and they talk about it out loud, is that a lot of people go into this and say, hey, we can do this amount of money with our new facilities. Look at how beautiful it is. But what they have learned over the decades of working is that we always, and people, because of course we're proud, we have a tendency to oversell, but it's not what we can deliver. Because what this is not somebody philanthropically just handing us a check saying we want to support you, here's five-year contract. What we have to give them in return are actually the return on investment that they're seeking by doing advertising, not only on a scoreboard, but actively engaging with them with marketing elements that I will project manage from behind the scenes, but that will be a part of returning to them as a value add for the money they're giving us.
And I just want to, just grain of salt. It's not like next year we're going to be expecting to bring in, $150,000 to sponsorship. This is a kind of what's the end goal? What's the the maximum? Not necessarily maximum, but what's the end goal for our efforts? So it's not going to happen like next year, but we know we know a way forward. We have some numbers to put to it that we can kind of keep track of and check off, the ones that we've got and the ones that we still need to do. Ton of effort, a ton of work, a ton of conversations to get there, but this gives us a roadmap to get us there. Okay, questions?
So thanks for pointing that out, because I'm also that guy who sees this and I'm like, wow, we're going to make $100.
So was I.
But what do you think a realistic timing is as to like when some of this stuff we start to see like the benefits of all of the work in terms of maybe some financial income to the district?
So I think it's. Go ahead, Sue.
Okay, go ahead, Bill.
I think Sue and I talked about putting a committee together to help steer this, prioritize. Sue's one person. This is a lot to do. It's a lot to coordinate. I think we have a scoreboard. To my mind, Levi, we have a scoreboard that's about to be up, online. Sue and I talked about maybe prioritizing those sailing of that. And my hope is that builds momentum. I would take a guess that my hope would be within 5 years. I know that sounds like a long time. We would be actualizing the majority of what's on that list by 5 years. I would be pleased if it was less, but it's going to be a rolling kind of inertia gathering event.
I will say this, not to interrupt you, but to answer you, Levi, is that there's already been quite a lot of work being handled behind the scenes, and until contracts are signed, I don't want to give you a false sense of what we've been able to accomplish already, but I will go out on a limb and say that I have said to Bill that my hope is that at least by the end of this year, the scoreboard is complete, that you've got the people up there, and we are engaged with at least a multiple group of contracts that are some are already in discussion, some have already been sent, and that there will be something there to be very proud of, and then it'll continue to build from that place.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. Other questions?
Yep.
This money here is what everybody was talking about, buying lights and concession stands and that type of stuff. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I think the initial thought was, that sponsorship money would be raised to help extracurriculars and build out, the stadium, more, without going back to the taxpayer and using taxpayer money per se. So that to my mind makes sense.
When you say extracurriculars, you're talking about
Sports, band, the things that we would use to build out, it's really the will of the board in regard to what those monies could be used for.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
but-
I think this money should be used for that, and I think this is realistic numbers. But, if we want to get concessions, we're going to have a different viewpoint than trying to facilitate a Newville-style concession stand,
Yeah. So it's one step at a time for sure. And this is the part where we would, as a board, would gather the resources to be able to plan out, to
What
gather
I'm
resources.
Trying to get across is that the public and the board are going to have to think really hard on, what we want to try to accomplish next. We've gone a long way.
Absolutely. Yep.
But, we can't have, there was a comment made by Tim Hess about getting a $3 million concession stand. Well, at this rate, that's 30 years, 40 years out. So what do we really want?
That's where that steering committee would come in to help prioritize, and knowing that we did already have almost $1 million or 1 point whatever set aside to assist with, some of the multi-purpose.
I just think some people need to start thinking about how can we finish stadium project off, get restrooms, sessions, and things like that, but come in at a more realistic.
Yeah. I think those are all great conversations for us to have moving forward.
Can I add one quick thing, Kirk, because of what you just said? It's so fascinating to me that I know all your voices, but I can't see you. The strategies to build out corporate partnerships for sponsorship of athletics and the facilities is not going to be the money that helps you pay for what a campaign might pay for down the road. So these corporate sponsorships are there to help facilitate and give you a pool of money from which Bill and you as board members will decide how to spend, but it may allow you to do some things that lead up then to a future campaign that may help you pay for the concession and washrooms in whatever format you decide is the right build for these facilities.
So how would
But
that be
they're
done?
two
Sue?
different things.
How would that be done, Sue? So we have this income, and how would, like this other campaign you're talking about?
The money from, let's just say, if we have sponsors for the scoreboard and we use that money, we get to decide how those funds are dispersed. Are we going to put it towards other amenities at the stadium? So that is what she means when we're talking about the scoreboard, like those funds, and that could be a repetitive income, but like we get to decide how our next campaign would also be what is next for Shippensburg School District multi-purpose stadium.
Right. So I
Yeah.
think you captured it.
That's what I'm
Right.
trying
It's
to get
two
at.
different things, as Sue said.
But this is a consistent.
This is
income.
right. And then
And
it's,
use this to do another campaign to try to.
well, yeah, right. And then a separate maybe campaign for hey, let's build some cool,
Whatever's next.
whatever we decide is the priority.
Yeah, because Kirk, this inventory index runs yearly, every year, something you can continue to count on once we have it working to our satisfaction. Hempfield raises, and for the past 17 years, they've raised a consistent, I think, $120,000 a year, and it's become so regimented and a part of their system that they know what they can count on, and then it allows them and frees them up to do other types of fundraising endeavors like campaigns to raise money for other things.
Good.
But this is something we've never done. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited that we had Market Street work with us. They have been a huge help and a great educator, even for me, who's not done it for a school district before. And, you know, once we get these conversations rolling a bit more, there is definitely more information coming your way.
Okay, thank you for the update.
All right, thank you, Sue.
Yeah.
Up next, speaking of construction, Jason Erb from SiteLogic is here to give our progress on our various projects. Take it away, sir.
Okay, good evening. We'll get started. On the next slide here, we're going to talk about the site work portion of the project as well as the middle school parent drop-off loop. I've also included, they started on the backside of the high school, the parking lot extension, the high school STEM lab addition, as well as the music room addition and middle school band room addition. So we go to the next slide, the site work. The middle school loop road, not a lot has happened since the last update. The contractors have been focusing on the backside of the high school with that parking lot extension, as well as the front of the middle school, doing some grading for the front lot extension. The middle picture there is the high school loop road that's taking shape along with some sidewalk. And then on the far right side is the high school back parking lot. Looking at paving activities, the first or the base coat right around the end of July. So going into the STEM lab addition, all the window frames have been installed. The glass is on site. I was hoping they would start installing it today. They haven't, but it is on site. They're working on the parking lot light bases. And also, I'm sorry, you gotta go to the next slide.
Go to the next one. Okay.
And next.
There we go.
Okay, the going back, the STEM lab addition, all the brick masonry, the roofing is complete. All the windows are installed. Like I said, the glass is on site, ready to be installed, and they're starting on forming and pouring the sidewalk around that addition. On the next slide is a picture of the STEM lab itself. Has the exposed painted ceiling with the spiral ductwork. Casework installation has started and will continue. Countertop should be arriving soon. All the wood doors showed up and are stored in that climate controlled room right now. The next slide is the consumer science cooking lab. That casework's starting to take shape for the demonstration areas. And soon we'll be starting some flooring in that space as well.
Next time, could you show a before and after picture of what it looked like, what the current one looked like, just to show the difference?
Last month?
No, I meant from the old space to the new space. You know, just
Oh.
even what's in there now, I think is a huge, huge difference. I'm just kidding. You don't have to bring the picture.
Could probably
in,
do that at the end.
it would give a good reference
Everything's done, yep.
to how good it's going to look.
Correct. The next slide is the nursery area. The ceilings have been installed. They're starting to install the lighting, devices in the ceiling. The air supply diffusers are installed. Obviously, the casework they have the casework in as well. They're starting to install the doors as well. Starting to lose my voice, I'm sorry. And the next slide, the conference room. I know you brought that up last time, so I got a picture of the conference room. It's taking shape, the ceilings are installed, and the split system cassette unit right there in the middle of the ceiling provides the conditioning for the space. Going into the music room addition, the exterior windows again have been installed, all the brick veneer, and the roofing is complete. Grading around the addition is starting to take shape. They are installing the water line around that addition. Originally, that water line went underneath where that addition is now, so they're in the process of relocating that. The parking lot curbing and the water runoff system is starting to take shape as well. The next slide shows you that music room addition. Again, the ceilings have been installed. They're starting to put in the ceiling devices. The second slide on the right there, if you look up in the ceiling, that's the track for the folding partition that will separate that space on an as-needed basis. So you got one big room that can be separated into two smaller size instruction areas. Next, we're going to go into the middle school band room. The next slide shows the exterior. Again, all the brick, windows, and roofing is complete. They are installing the grease trap outside the addition. It's a little bit further on the right side of that picture. The next slide shows the interior of that band room, which they're currently installing the ductwork. Really the last addition in the whole sequence, getting all the above ceiling stuff done, and the ceiling grid should be going in over the next couple weeks. Not much into that space, so once that ceiling goes in, flooring and minor finishes, that space will clean up and be finished in short order. The next slide, the high school secured vestibule. The demolition has been completed. They had to reroute some roof drain lines that were exposed during the demolition process. So that was recently completed, and they're starting to prepare for the foundations of that secured vestibule. The slide on the left there is the high school cafeteria bar, snack bar. Not a whole lot to this little upgrade, but there is going to be, they're starting on the framing on the back wall. The plumbing and the electrical roughings are complete, so that'll start taking shape here over the next week. Going into some of the administrative stuff, schedule overview. We did do a schedule update through the end of June, and we didn't make any time up. We didn't lose any time. We're sort of holding course to the schedule, and we have bi-weekly job conferences where we discuss milestones as far as finishes. Basically, the STEM lab is always showing roughly 11 days behind the original schedule, but based on our discussions on finishes and getting furniture in there and so forth, contractors and SiteLogic feel that there's no issues with the schedule at this point. The other two additions are maintaining schedule, so there's no issues with completing prior to the start of the 25 school year.
Okay, so just to summarize, on schedule
On schedule.
ish.
Yeah, we're good. Next item is the pay application summary through June of 25. Highlighted there, ECI submitted 2 invoices. One was for the transportation funding grant, and Midstate on the mechanical side submitted 2 invoices. One was a regular progress invoice, and the other was a reduction in retainage from 10 to 5%. And with them being roughly 70% complete, that's a fair request. Kleinfelder testing, they did submit an invoice but didn't provide the proper documentation. So as soon as they submit that, I will submit that to the district for payment. Cost issues. The ECI revised change order that was voted on the last meeting was executed. Mid-state change order number 2 that was voted on the last meeting, that has been executed as well. Just a reminder from what I previously talked to you about, water meter vault is a construction change directive. So it's basically a time and material type thing that we have estimated. We got an estimate from ECI about $28,000. That work has not started yet. The vault has been ordered. Next slide. Contingency is looking very healthy. Right now you have a balance of $232,000. Project challenges. Water meter vault. I bring this up every meeting just to keep you aware. It is on order. It will be installed probably after the start of school, but it won't affect any activities except for the turnover, in which we'll coordinate with the school district shutdown when it doesn't affect classes or any other activities. Next item is Brightspeed. Contractors met with them on site last Friday. Not a very good meeting. They weren't prepared. They don't know what's out there. They're still doing exploratory work on their end. So at this time, we're not making very good progress with the relocation of that fiber lines. So I continue to press Brightspeed. I know Bill has been continuing to press them. And we're just at a challenge here on what we do. We suggested a possibility of keeping, doing some type of traffic rated box in the roadway to put where the pedestal is now, so we could open that road up. They didn't give us an answer, but we're trying to find options to have that road available for the start of school. We looked at possibly doing an alternate entrance, but the site engineer is telling us we would have to go back through conservation and borough approvals in order to do that. The next slide, it's the same slide as I had on the last meeting. On the left side there is where the existing fiber posts are located. And then on the right side is arrows showing where they need to be relocated in order to finish that loop road for the middle school. Next item is the existing middle school parking lot. This just sort of surfaced late last week. The existing parking lot, which is outlined in red there, On contract drawings, it calls to mill and overlay that parking lot. We also, sort of going to the bottom of the screen, that parking lot gets extended towards King Street. The portion in the red says to mill and overlay, so they're going to take out about 1.5 inches of that existing surface and put a new 1.5 inch wearing asphalt coat over top of it. They did some exploratory work and found that that existing asphalt goes from, ranges from 2 to 4 inches thick in its current condition. So if you take 1.5 inches off of that, in some areas, you're gonna have 1/2 to 1 inch to 1.5 inches of existing material there. It's really not gonna be stable enough to put a new parking lot on top. So what the civil engineer, and that's about, that 2 to 3 inches is about half, 50% of that parking lot, more the half facing King Street. So the site engineer is recommending that we tear out all that existing asphalt and put in a new base coat and wearing coat to make that more structurally stable.
So this was an unknown that we discovered, in the process.
Unforeseen condition. When we took some of the parking lot out in front of the middle school, we found that it was not as thick as it should be. Should be at least 5 inches or 5.5.
Okay.
And it's just not there. And if we try to mill that in its current state, it's just going to be a mess.
If you try to.
What are you putting down inch-wise?
Say that?
How much are you putting down?
Well, if we go the contract, it's 1.5 inches over top.
You're taking it all out, what are you gonna put down?
It'll be 3, 5, 4.5. It's a 3 inch, I believe it calls for a 3 inch base and 1.5 inches wearing.
This would fall under the contingency funds that you showed earlier.
Yeah, I gave you an estimate this afternoon of $35,000. Once we receive that from ECI, I still need to review it because there would be an ad, but there would also be a credit for what's currently owned under contract. So I got to make sure everything is included in that proposal.
Yeah, and this is a result of not doing it right the first time, more or less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions on that parking lot? Next slide. Stadium. The punch list was created by the site engineer, and that was issued to ECI, I believe, a little over a week ago, right around the 4th of July. ECI stating that the remaining concrete work for the sidewalk, softball field, and throwing event areas will be installed within the next 2 weeks. The time clock poles were installed. The time clocks are on site. They're waiting for the installer to put those in. And the turf field repairs were taken care of last week.
Was there an issue with the track width?
Those are still things on the punch list that need to be worked through.
Any updates on that?
I don't have any updates on that yet.
Okay.
Any questions for Jason?
Curbing, I'd asked you about last time between the schools. It goes like this, and you said, yeah, I'm aware of it.
Yeah, but you said the high school entrance, or are you talking for the middle school?
Goes between the two. Along the new walk they just put in out in front of the high school, coming this way.
Yeah, it's sort of, right now, I have the civil engineer looking at it. The crosswalk is higher on the side closest to the Volvo. I don't know, are we talking the same area? You're talking where you come out of the high school, where it's gonna be the new loop coming out
Front
onto
entrance of
Eberly.
the high school, the building, you come
Yep.
straight out, and the walk that comes straight across
Yep,
the new sidewalk poured, that curbing alongside there went like this.
well, I saw a big crown in the middle.
That was
You're
one
saying
of
it's rolling.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know, I brought it up last time, you said.
yeah, and I thought you were talking about the middle school here.
That's between the two, yeah, the road and the high school.
Okay. Do you know where it's at, Bill?
I can get with Mr. Carey and make sure. we
Yeah,
have that
I'd
spot.
like to make sure that I'm looking at the same spot.
It's on the bus loop from the barn to the front of the senior high.
Okay, so it's the middle school loop.
It is the part of the bus loop.
Okay, all right, then I know what you're talking about.
You know
It's
what I'm
close to,
talking-
like,
sticks out
you
like a
parked
sore
out
thumb.
here, so it would be kind of adjacent to where you parked in the high school.
Okay, all right,
I do remember during the design phase, there was some undulation
there
kind of
is,
on the drawings. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Mr. Carey. That I questioned it that too. But yeah, it may be built in, but Jason can check it out.
yeah, I want the site engineer to come out and look at it, because the contractor is telling me that they installed it per plan based on elevations, and that it rolls that gap for water runoff. But I want the civil engineer to look at it.
Okay. Was the asphalt do the same thing? Was it slated to have that whoop in it?
Yeah, the asphalt, the reveal should be about the same on the asphalt. But I'll have them look at it,
Okay.
make sure it's going
Water
in.
runs off of it if it all slants downhill too, doesn't have to go this way.
Well, they've got a couple inlets in along that road, so,
Where are those inlets going?
say that,
Where do those inlets go for
the
stormwater?
water, I'd have to look to, I don't know which way they go.
That was all.
So Jason, to summarize, on time, on budget to
Yes.
this date. Okay. Thank you.
Bill, where are we at with the dates for all our meetings for the stadium? Just so that the public has a good idea.
So tomorrow, Dave Jones will be going to the Borough Council meeting. I also will be going. Wednesday is the variance hearing committee. So we have those two coming, and then August 5th, I believe, is the final approval.
Okay. And that will not, we will be able to do LBJ here or not?
Based on the timelines, it does not look like we're going to be able to play that first game here.
Enough.
And we're making plans to make that happen. Thanks, Jason. All right, well, 2 minutes. 2 minutes out. Anyone that intends to speak, if you want to fill out a card on the side, there, right on that little table.
the Shippensburg Area School District Planning and Action Meeting. Calling this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jim Bard,
Here.
Mr. Mike Carey,
Here.
Mr. Levi Kressler,
Here.
Dr. Nathan Goetz, Dr. Michael Lyman. Mr. Kirk Noggle,
Here.
Mr. Fred Scott, Mr. Darren Donovan, Mrs. Steph Eberly,
Here.
and Mr. Blount.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. As we begin our deliberations this evening, let us once again be reminded of our duty to represent all of the children of this school community, regardless of age, sex, race, or creed, and regardless of need or ability. This meeting is being live streamed and uploaded to the district's YouTube channel. May we now have a moment of silence to reflect on our thoughts, plans, and actions on behalf of the students in the Shippensburg Area School District. And now we have a moment of silence for Dawn Mowry, 1960 graduate of the Shippensburg Area Senior High School, and Galen Lee Myers, 1956 graduate of the Shippensburg Area Senior High School. Mr. August, are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
Yes, ma'am. 4H13 was filled in from the posted agenda. We had a successful candidate there, and 4H14 is remaining blank, so we can remove that at this time.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So move.
Motion made by Mr. Carey, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kressler. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Citizens' comments regarding agenda items. None? Reports, Mr. August.
I'd like to highlight the donations to the district and thank those individuals and organizations. Monetary donations were received to support the school band at Shippensburg Middle School. The band boosters gave $3,519 and a Majestic V6530S3 octave vibraphone motor. The following were received to support the marching band from the boosters again, $6,559.84 value for Yamaha Mellophone case, which was $3,238, and a McCormick wireless microphone, $3,321.84. Received from the Color Guard. In support of the Color Guard, the boosters, very active this month, gave $1,087.32 to purchase 15 Color Guard rifles. With the changeover in the system, Skyward system, we'll get an update on enrollment, the first one in August. It wouldn't have been very accurate at this point.
Well, I have no idea what an octave vibraphone or a mellophone is, but it sounds really cool, so thank you to the booster clubs.
Does that come with a 4-barrel? Sure.
The consent agenda, item 4A, the approval of the minutes. Recommended is approval of the minutes as presented and attached from the June 23rd meeting, along with the finance reports of the bills of payment, financial reports, and the tax report. Item 4C is the disposal of books from the intermediate school library and classrooms. 4D is the volunteer handbook, which is attached for the 25-26 school year. Item 4E is the student services renewal agreements for the agreement with News Story for special education services. 4EB is the Vista School Extended School Year Education Services Addendum. For EC is Laurel Life for the 25-26 SOAR agreement. For EC is the Laurel Life. See, you distracted me.
Sorry.
4ED is the New Story Franklin County Consortium Agreement. 4F is the MOU between the Shippensburg Area University Head Start and the Shippensburg School District. 4G is the PSBA membership renewal. And then 4H is personnel, professional, and support, which include resignations, transfers, new appointments, and leave of absences. Is there a motion to approve item 4A through 4H?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Carey, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bard. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item, the act. Oh, sorry. Leah, would you like to give your report? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I don't have one. I'm here to just watch the deliberations tonight. I mean, summer league is going on for sports, but that's like about it, I think.
Well, you're definitely an overachiever. Most of our reps aren't here over the summer, so thank you for that. Item 5A is the Lego Education, the Spike Prime sets. Administration recommends the approval of 42 Lego Education Spike Prime sets at $400 each. The cost of $16,797 will come from an EITC grant. Is there a motion to approve item 5A?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Noggle, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carey. Discussion?
Just want to point out that this is some of Sue Fink's handiwork to get these funds and get these things moving for us.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5B, we have the Jamesburg Elementary dishwasher quote. Administration recommends approval to purchase a new dishwasher for the Jamesburg Elementary School kitchen. Currently, the one in the kitchen is not working at full workload and repair parts are not available anymore. The district received 3 quotes as attached and is recommending going with Johnny's Food Equipment Supplies at $13,960. Is there a motion to approve item 5B?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Carey, second. Second by Mr. Kressler. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5C is the track settlement repair, PC 011. The administration recommends approval of the attached change for repairs to the track as discussed in the Facilities Committee. The cost has been reduced for ECI's portion of the work, and the cost will be paid out of the project contingency funds. Is there a motion to approve item 5C?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Carey,
Second.
second by Mr. Noggle. Discussion?
This is what they fixed by the scoreboard?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Any further questions, comments, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bard?
No.
Mr. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Kressler?
Yes.
Dr. Goods is absent. Dr. Lyman?
Yes.
Mr. Noggle?
Yes.
Mr. Scott is absent. Mr. Donovan's absent. And Mrs. Eberly?
No.
4 yes, 2 no. Motion fails.
On the discussion agenda, I'm just going to read through the titles. Let me know if you have any questions, or you can ask at the end. We have 6A, the disposal items of the SAIS. The administration recommends disposing of the following items from the intermediate school that are no longer needed. 6B is the language essentials for teachers of reading and spelling, the letters licenses, the 25-26 school handbooks. Let's please read that before the next meeting, so it's 6D, the field trip manual. 6E is the schedule of fees for athletic events. 6F is the memorandum of understanding with the Shippensburg Area Education Association. 6G is the Head Start sponsor-to-sponsor agreement for the 25-26 school year. 6H is the job descriptions for the district registrar and the business and operations maintenance office assistant and transportation secretary. And 6I is the FCL joint authority membership. Does anyone have any questions, comments regarding any of the discussion agenda items?
I got a question on the transportation secretary. How many people do we have in that area now, Bill?
We have two.
Just two, okay.
Well, Randy and the two secretaries.
Okay, all right.
Which brings us to citizens' comments regarding non-agenda items. Tricia?
Good evening. Tricia Macheski, Shippensburg Township, Cumberland County, mother to Brady and Levi. First, I pray that you're all taking time to prioritize yourself, to refresh your soul, to find something each day that brings you joy and identify something you're grateful for. By the sounds of it, you're also very busy planning to hit the ground running in August. Second, I took notice to the email sent out to district families regarding resources parents can use to learn more about online safety. There were lots of good things included in that. Good job. It's my understanding that there will be a new exploratory at the middle school that will touch on digital safety and, digital citizenship and online safety. That's good too. Keep it up. I hope there are lots of other ways the district plans to get in front of children, parents, and teachers with the much needed continuing safety education. I've requested in the past that you keep me in the loop on what you're doing. I'd like to offer the same to you. I've been busy in Harrisburg and in DC over the last few months. I would have preferred to stay in my mom lane. I wasn't given that option. I got word on Friday that a number of Pennsylvania state senators are introducing a statewide resolution designating August 17th through 23rd as Social Media Safety and Parental Awareness Week. The intent of the resolution is to help remind parents, educators, and administrators of the dangers of social media and help raise awareness as we approach the beginning of the school year. This is the first step in the legislation that will happen in Levi's memory. It's my goal to bring about mandated curriculum, new statewide standards to teach students how to stay safe in the digital world that they live and, God willing, get to thrive in. Levi is going to move mountains, starting at the state level. I'm active at the federal level as well, but they don't move so quickly, so the state approach is necessary because kids can't wait. Levi's story is also a propelling force in advocating for tech companies to fix themselves and make their products safe by design. It's unfortunate and unfair that parents and educators are in this position. We must each do all that we can to continue to learn, grow, and adjust to the changing and increasingly dangerous digital landscape. Last, keep your eyes open in the next week or so for the introduction of the Live Like Levi Foundation. In the rollout of the new organization, we'll be showing off the second edition of the Live Like Levi t-shirt, which will be available soon. We'll also be providing details about the first annual memorial event taking place on August 20th, the anniversary of Levi's death. The remembrance event is called Lift Like Levi. The Live Like Levi Foundation was formed in honor of the memory of Levi Macheski to provide scholarships, charitable giving, community support initiatives, and educational resources that benefit individuals and communities. Levi's life and the way that he lived it will be remembered in our community and beyond. Have a blessed remainder of your summer. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you for your comments. Board comments, Mr. Noggle.
I do not have any.
Dr. Lyman.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Carey.
None, ma'am.
Mr. Kressler.
You guys thought we were going to finish early. I just have a couple of things. I did note though, I think last week I saw that Derek Lynch was named to the Sentinel. I think he was the Carlisle Sentinel Field Athlete of the Year for track and field. He was also named a PIAA All-State team member from his performance this spring. As a reminder, athletic paperwork is due by July 28th for fall sports. And then here's my cheap plug for all of our booster clubs and stuff. So the Shippensburg Fair is next week, which is like this massive, huge thing in our community. We've got multiple different booster clubs that are set up there. So I hope that they get lots of turnout at the fair and our boosters do well. And thank you to all the volunteers and the student athletes who work those. Also, there's a bunch of golf tournaments coming up. The Golf Booster Club has a golf tournament on September 6th. The Greyhound Foundation Golf Tournament is September 21st. The wrestling program has a cornhole tournament on August 9th. The field hockey team has a youth clinic, which is actually pretty cool because we don't have any youth field hockey in Shippensburg. I assume most school towns don't until you get to 7th grade, but it's a good introductory opportunity for those kids, July 28th to the 30th, and I think it's fairly cheap, like $25 or something. So, and I did also see that band camp starts in like 2 weeks, and that's like a huge event for our band kids, like full day workouts for them out in the heat and all that. So we won't meet again. So I hope those kids all enjoy that. And then I have one other thing that I guess maybe I would charge it maybe to the athletic committee, but we've talked about it a little bit in the past, and this would be something going forward. I personally would like to see the district look into adding middle school track to our extracurriculars with athletics. I don't know what the process is. In the past, of course, like we didn't have any facility that was usable for the most part, high school included. But it is, I do know from the last time we had talked about this a few years ago, we're one of only like 3 or 4 schools in the area that doesn't provide middle school track. I would think it's a fairly cheap thing for us because the equipment would all be the same, the facility will be there, just a matter of, finding some uniforms and things of that nature. But it's a really good opportunity, I think, for kids. You can get a lot of kids in the program. Our high school track team carries like close to 100 kids. That kids are doing something that's productive outside of the school day. So I think middle school track, if it's possible, I think would be a good opportunity as well. So whoever could look into that process, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Bard.
I don't have any.
So on the athletic comment, when are we going to go digital or paperless for athletic signups and all of that paperwork versus having to print out the papers or do the thing online, then type it in, save it, send it in? This has been a discussion item or brought up for 4 years now. Like, we have to do better, like to make it easier for parents. If we want kids involved, we have to make it easier for parents to get their students signed up and enrolled in these events. I mean, there's also not like online payment options. Everything is like send cash or money into physically take it in. I mean, we have to innovate a little bit on this front.
All right, duly noted.
So if we could have that done by November, that would be great.
I won't commit to any timelines, but we'll have those discussions, Ms. Everly.
All right. Information date savers. July 24th is the Facilities Committee. August 11th, Committee of the Whole Planning and Action. August 14th, the facilities, and August 21st is the first day of school for students. Meeting adjourned.